everyone. I get to speak with Laura Beers again this week. We're going to be talking about this book right here called A Deceptive Bargain. I was like spacing on the title of it. And it is coming out today, and I'm about to tell her, I'm going to tell you first that this is her best one yet. This is book number 5, and I love this book so much. And I can't wait to tell her that. And, when I met Laura earlier this year, I don't know if it was at the end of last year or the beginning of this year, and there is just something about her I just love. I mean, we just hit it off, and I've gotten to talk to her about all of her books. I feel so incredibly blessed. So everybody, here is Laura. Hi everyone, I'm so excited because I'm speaking with author Laura Beers again this week because she has a book coming out today, which I'm so excited. I think this is the first one I've gotten to do on the day that I get to put it out, so I'm so excited about that, Laura. And I have to tell you something. It's my best, it's your favorite, my favorite, your best one yet. My absolute, hands down favorite one.
Oh, really? Yay!
Oh my gosh, I was reading it and I kept saying that in my head. I'm like, Laura, this is the best. This is the best one yet. You've saved number 5. Like, I don't know. I mean, of course, you're supposed to always get better, right? Like, we're supposed to get better, right?
Right. Well, this one I was very, very hesitant. Like, I almost kind of scratched it a couple times because of the subject matter. And my heroine is very flawed, obviously. And my hero is very patient, but also flawed. And they both end up fighting for each other. But they don't fight for themselves. But my mom read it, and she's like, I didn't really like it. And then my mother-in-law read it, and she's like, I loved it. And so I was like, oh, let's hope.
Sorry, Mom.
So it makes me so happy. I mean, obviously, I had ARC readers and stuff read it, and they liked it. But it's always scary when you send a book out into the world and hope that people love the characters.
I know, and I just fell in love with her, like, all over it. I don't know, there was just something about this story, and you did it so well, like, them, and just, I love your ending, so that's just whatever, like, we'll just go right there, like, I just loved it, so, because I'm a happy endings person,
yes.
But it wasn't just about happy endings, it's just, like, it was so touching, and, and I ended up loving her so much, and I loved her spirit, and you write women so well. I always love your women, always. But you get to see, like, another side of Eliza that I loved, because now she's a mom and she's, but she's still Eliza, so,
Still Eliza, yeah.
She's still Eliza, and their relationship was just so cute and just so, like, I don't know. But, I mean, it's not a spoiler because it's in the beginning. You open it up with her being sick, with Martha being sick, and Caroline. Caroline is Eliza's child. And, but right then, like, just so much happened in just the beginning, and then it just goes on from there. And I got to spend all day with it yesterday, and then most of, like this morning. And it was, I put it down, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, you thought, like, starting at the beginning, I thought, okay, here Martha is so happy. She's fine. She's overcome so much, and she's happy being a lady's maid. She's happy helping to raise, her goddaughter, Caroline. She's happy. She loves Eliza like a sister. She thinks of Benedict. She respects him. She's happy. And then her father shows up and wants her to go to have a season. And she's like, I wipe my hands clean of this man. He's not good. And then Eliza's like, yeah, you should go. You should have fun. And when I wrote it, my editor's like, wow, Eliza is pushy. And I thought, you know what, though? But Martha would not have gone if she didn't get a shove. Yeah. And she did get a shove. And luckily, Emmett was there, and Emmett helped her. And Emmett understood. And even my publisher was like, that's an interesting choice. And I said, well, Emmett understands. And he loved her, and he obviously grew to love with her. And that wasn't an issue of her past. he respected her for it. He loved her for it. And so Martha had to have a happy ending after everything she went through.
Yeah, she did, and you did it. I mean, and especially reading the books kind of back to back, very close, and I was just like, I don't know, I love your books so much, and I was just like, I just kept thinking, Laura, this is it. You found your like sweet spot right here with these characters. This is it. You wrote them so well, and I'm gonna read okay, so the last line of the first chapter. I always love that line because I always go back and read that first chapter again. So this is always my last line. Okay, that I read in a book is that last line. And for some reason, I started doing it with thrillers, and it made sense. And then I started it with other books, and I was like, you know what, this works with a lot of books, and it worked with this book because I will remind you of what that line is in case you don't remember.
I remember, but I'm with you.
Okay. She determined in that very moment to never see or speak with him again. Him meaning her father.
Yes.
And I was like, what a way to end that, because we do know how what happens, and it was just perfect. So I don't know. I've just been doing that, and people are like, the authors that I tell this to, they're like, huh, that's interesting. Like, I like shock them. They're like, I never thought of that before. But you know what? That line has to take you to chapter 2. There are so many books on Kindle, so many books out there, and a lot of people will read that first chapter, and if they're not intrigued enough to read the second chapter, and they're like, nah, I'll go. So I always look at that line because that's the line that says, I'm going to read. I read that and I'm like, see, she did it. She did it right there, because you're like, yeah, I don't think that's going down like that, but okay.
And like I said, if Martha had followed what her intuition and her gut, she would have stayed a lady's maid and been happy in her role. Although she would never really been truly happy.
I know, and I was going to say, doesn't that how life works, though? We get to this place of contentment that we think, that we're like, now this is, I know with my family, in different stages of the kids being raised and everything, you're like, this is all good, right here, right here. But then something happens, and it rocks your world, and you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't, and then, but then after you get through it, you're like, better for it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's, like I said, Eliza cared for her like a sister, obviously, because she is their daughter's, godmother. They really loved her. They knew her background. I mean, you find out immediately she's actually a niece of an earl. And so she's not just some country bumpkin.
Right.
And because her father was a lowly vicar, that's what she says. And she kind of downplays her nobility, but she then becomes a lady. And so it's just a happy story. And that's why when I was writing it, I thought, I can't downplay what happened to her. I mean, she went through a horrible ordeal. And if I sugarcoated it and she's all of a sudden happy and she has no problems and it's just gone, that wouldn't give her character justice. She had to overcome, because she had just kind of banished the memories. She didn't really overcome anything. And with Emmett's help, they did it. And then towards the end, obviously, when all these revelations are coming out and she realizes, she's a survivor, and she's a fighter. Yeah. So.
And you know what I was thinking about? Like, when my girls were teenagers, I was always trying to find books for them, because I don't know if you've been to Barnes & Noble in the teen romance section.
Yes.
But it's a scary place, okay? I'm scared. I walked down that section and I'm like, oh my God. I didn't, all that vampire stuff was just coming out, and, I couldn't really stop some of it, like, but then I didn't want them to get into the deep, dark, and it was really difficult. But I hope that it really makes you happy that teenage girls could pick up these stories and they fulfill the romance and the history, and and you can feel proud of that, because you're not like, okay, well, you've got to be 18 to read these books. You're never gonna, there's not sex in it. There's not, it's romance, and it's, it's fun, and these characters are fun to follow. And when I was a teenager, I loved stories that were series. I fell in love with series, because I still do. But I mean, back then, even I'm like, you know what? I would have given them these books, because there's, so I'm sure people tell you that. So I'm sure I'm not the first person.
Well, I actually had, just yesterday, I was sitting here working on a book, and I get a instant message from someone, and they said, how many more books are in your series? And I'm like, well, as of right now, I have a plan of 8. There still has to be, obviously, Emma, David Pearson's sister, and then I'm trying to do Cosette, and then I'm working on, the Baron's Daughter right now, which is Lord Morgan, and I'm trying to blank because I'm writing about her all the time. Josette, Miss Josette. So you find out there, and so I said about 8, total of 8, and she's like, I love that. She's like, she's a teenager, and she was super excited about my books to come out, and I thought that makes me so happy, and that's one of the reasons I put my name on it, because there is some kissing, but it's a clean book. And I'm not embarrassed. Someone at church, someone at school, I'm not embarrassed about that. So, and another thing on this book to bring up, I was debating about putting something in the back, but Grayson, that I picked, the town, is actually super rich in history. And it actually was a smuggler's paradise. And Charles Dickens actually wrote about this town specifically. And he wrote about the tavern inns, the Three Dawns are a real place. And then the pub that I picked, the public house that I use, is actually based upon the King and Lobster place. And so it's actually, if you read it, it's smugglers were very common. And when my mom first read it, she's like, there's no way there was that much smuggling. I'm like, nope. This is based on like legitimate situations, how they got rid of all of their stuff over the ships. That happened.
Don't you love how moms are just like so honest?
I love my mom. But I always send her my book, and she'll tell me she was the one who said, that during a battle scene they weren't beat up enough, stuff like that. So
yeah, I know. Like, at least you're getting an honest, yes. The most honest review ever. But
which is good.
Right, and it occurred to me today because I'm like, I have to tell her, like, I read so much heavy stuff, all the time, and it's like, oh, I would have given, like, I would have been proud to, like, have my daughters, if I could have found them in the aisle, I would have been like, here, read these, so.
I'm such a sucker. I love happily ever afters. I believe that, good always conquers evil. Yep. I enjoy that stuff, and so maybe I'm, kind of young and gullible, but I do love it. I love happily ever afters.
Absolutely, and I don't care, like, I know that ahead of time. It's like, because it's the story, you got to read the story, So, but I do have an interesting Megan news that I had to share with you, because I didn't know if you saw this on Yahoo or not, but she was getting out of a car. Did you see this?
Mm-hmm. And she closed her own door. Because that's a big deal. Did you see that she also rode the train, or what do they call it over there? Whatever they call the train. They actually, her and Prince Harry, along with all the staff and bodyguards, actually rode the train home after an engagement.
I just thought it was funny because the video of it, and of course the woman's got video on her, like, she steps out of the car and there's video, and it was so nonchalant. Because, we do that. We close our door. Like, it wasn't like she, went out of her way. She would, like, looked over her shoulder and saw the door open and then closed it. Yeah. And they were like, I
know. I saw that. I'm like, she's an American. Like,
she's not used to getting out. Can you imagine how long it would take me to not, people would be like, you can't close the car door. I'd be like, okay, I can't, like, I'm 53. I don't know. I've been closing car doors.
Well, and then they started taking all these pictures of her in the past who have also closed doors. Like, one time she was with her mom. Yeah, I read all up of this. I'm like, it must be a really slow news day if you're pulling up all these pictures of her closing the door.
You know what? It's funny is that it's like, we got all that other stuff going on right now, like all those hearings, and it's like, and then hers is behind, like right under it. And I'm like, this is an interesting look. There's that, and then there's Megan closes her car door.
I think with all of the negative stuff, I think people just want to be reminded there's happiness. And even though closing the door seems so silly, she's a princess.
Yes.
And she married her prince, and she seems so happy. And so I think when you see her and she's smiling, you're thinking,
Yes.
"Aw," and you can kind of forget about all this other bad stuff.
I would rather read that.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Same with
rather read
me.
about Megan
Yeah,
any time of day. So.
exactly. And she's just so pretty. She seems so beautiful on inside and out.
Ugh, I know. So we can't hold up the book because it's coming out today. So
Sorry.
can't hold it up. But the cover is beautiful, just like the other covers, and everybody else is looking at it. We're not looking at it, but everybody else is, so that's okay as long as everybody else can see it. And Laura's going to be giving away a copy on my Instagram tonight. So head on over there, and you can win a copy of this book. And I am so happy. You're just one of those people that I'm so happy that I met during all of this.
Aw.
And I can't wait till your next book because I don't know. It's just like I feel like we could be friends
Yes.
and
Of course. Well, we like the same things. We both like talking about the royals. You're half British, so
Yes.
already I like you because
half of me.
I tell my kids whenever we talk about immigration and not that, but I'm always like, I wish I could go over to England and just live there. I said I would love to live there in England, but I said, but I have to wait till I'm older or I go on vacation, But I love England. There's just
me too. Me too.
there's so much history.
Yes, and that's why I love your books because they're set in England, and I love it. I love all that history stuff. So I can't wait to see this week what this book does. I just, I'm just so happy that I get to tell you how much I loved it and how it's my
Thank
favorite.
you so much.
And you don't know when The Baron's Daughter is coming out, right?
March 1st.
Oh, we do have a date. Yes.
Yes.
No, I was like, did we have a date? We do have a date. Awesome. So that means we have a date.
March 1st. I'm super excited. And like I said, Josette, when you read about her, in The Deceptive Bargain, she is like a mini Eliza. She's young. She's almost 19. And she's just adventurous, but she has kind of something happened in her past. You don't fully know. And you meet her in the other book, in To Love a Spy. She's out there. But so she kind of has like a dark past. Someone has hurt her, but she is just full of energy, and she's excellent at weapons training and throwing daggers and shooting people. And she's so fun to write because she's so confident as long as you don't talk to her about her past. Because if you notice, she doesn't ever share her last name. And
right. Well, you know what? You write women so well. So I'm not worried. I know it's going to be so good. So you know where to find me. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And I hope next week is amazing for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay, well, I could talk to Laura all day, but I won't. But I love her so much. And this is her best one yet. So I am so happy that she is giving away a copy on my Instagram tonight. And everybody else saw the cover. Her books hadn't come in yet, so that's okay. We will see it, and go get it. If you don't win it tonight on my Instagram, just go get it. If you love historical romance, she does it amazing. So everyone, thank you for watching.